Hello, welcome to the PC3 Media bracket show with Devon, Brendan. I'm Johnny. We all made brackets. We have an ESPN tournament challenge against each other, and we're going to see who can come out on top. Today, we will give our picks and are going to give each of our first round matchups, and then it'll get a little bit weirder the farther we go. Obviously, some of the matchups we'll have different matchups in the later rounds because we'll pick different teams. But for the first round, we just wanted to go game by game and give our picks for each round. So the first game on the bracket is Auburn versus Alabama State in St. Francis, which Alabama State and St. Francis played tonight in the first game of the first four. So March Madness kind of starts tonight. The brackets are not due till Thursday, which has always been weird to me because I feel like whoever wins the 11 seed games can kind of affect how you like your bracket, especially if you think one of the first 11 seeds is going to go far, but if you don't think the other one will. And then the other team actually wins that first four matchup, so it changes your bracket because of it. I've always thought it's a little weird, but yeah, I digress with my discrepancies with how they do the bracket. Obviously, March Madness is my favorite time of the year, so I don't really care that much. But for Auburn, Alabama State, and St. Francis, who do you guys have winning?
I think it's clear. I mean,
Alabama State. No, Auburn.
16 seed upsets only happened twice out of this has been going since like 1979.
Yeah,
it's only happened twice.
What teams?
UMBC beat Virginia by 20, and then Fairleigh Dickinson beat Johnny's good old team in Purdue just a couple years ago by like what, 5?
Yeah, 5.
Yikes.
Okay, so
yeah.
Auburn.
Yeah, think we can all agree.
Yeah.
Auburn.
I think Auburn will beat Alabama State. I think Alabama State wins tonight. It doesn't matter, obviously.
I put San Francis, but it really doesn't.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Okay, Louisville Creighton.
You guys were talking about Louisville yesterday, so I put Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville realistically should not be an 8 seed.
They shouldn't be, but
they
obviously
really
Creighton's really good, so
they
this
are.
should be a good game.
They are.
And it's really funny that this is the first game of the bracket. Like,
yeah.
This first game played. Everybody's brackets could be screwed.
Yeah, half everybody's bracket's going to be cooked.
So,
I mean, Louisville is ranked 10th in the final AP poll of the year, and they're an 8th seed. So I don't really, but I pick Louisville as well.
Yeah, okay. A big one, Michigan versus UC San Diego. So
This might be where I get
boys.
shot.
Other than Purdue, this is Johnny's favorite team.
Which one?
We love
UC
San Diego. One of the most fun mid-majors. I've been paying attention to them all year as a part of the Big West. I was really hoping that we got a 2-bid Big West because if UC Irvine would have beat UC San Diego in the championship game, everyone believed that both teams would have gotten in. Now, if the committee would have actually done that, we don't know. But it would have been fun to see if two teams from the Big West got in. But there was no bid sealers. So, but UC San Diego won 30 games, one of the best mid-majors. I picked UC San Diego to beat Michigan this week.
I picked UC San Diego beat Michigan. I looked at the stats, and I'll talk about that a bit more, but I like them over Michigan.
I also picked UC San Diego.
So far, guys.
Yeah.
One of the biggest reasons is turnover margin, which I think is probably what you might have gone to.
I just looked at offensive points, defensive opponents' points.
Okay. UC San Diego, great defensively, but the part of that is they make you turn the ball over so much. And Michigan was the most turnover-prone power conference team. So that's where, this is not a great draw for UC San Diego's, Michigan's hot going into the tournament, but winning the Big Ten tournament has kind of been a curse in the last couple of years. Illinois did the best. They got to an Elite Eight out of the last, 3 or 4.
Well, Purdue went to the national championship last year.
They didn't. They won it 2 years ago and lost in the first round. Iowa won it 3 years ago, lost in the first round. 4 years ago was Illinois over Ohio State, and then Illinois lost in the second round to Loyola Chicago as a 1-8 upset. So winning the Big Ten tournament in the 2020s has not been a very good thing. Illinois won it last year, obviously, and they went all the way to the Elite Eight. But in the Elite Eight, they allowed UConn to score 30 consecutive points without scoring one.
Nice.
So, as a whole, winning the Big Ten has not been great for the team. The Big Ten the tournament has not been great. So, my pick's UC San Diego.
Yeah.
All right, Texas A&M versus Yale, 4-13. I have Texas A&M.
I also have Texas A&M.
I don't remember what stat made me do it, but I picked Yale.
Yale beat Auburn last year as the 4-13.
This one I thought about. I'm
scared about.
But
this
I
one.
have a lot of 4-13 and 5-12 upsets, and
I was like, this is not that big of a deal because I have whoever wins losing the next game.
Yeah.
I'll just spoil it now. So
I
didn't care that much.
I had a lot of these upsets. Yale could definitely pull it off, though.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that is something like Yale's a good team, and this will be a close and fun matchup to watch. All right, we move on to Ole Miss versus the winner of the second first 4-game night between San Diego State and UNC. San Diego State is like freezing cold right now going into tonight, and UNC is pretty hot. Outside of the 2 losses to Duke, they've won a lot of games by double digits to close the year. I would pick UNC to win tonight, but my pick is Ole Miss over UNC.
I also have Ole Miss. I was debating, and I will see how it plays out tonight. If North Carolina does beat San Diego State, I did have in my bracket that North Carolina would have went all the way to the Sweet 16. But I'll get into that once we get into the round of 32. But right now, I do have Ole Miss picked.
I got Ole Miss.
Oh.
I don't have much.
Okay, our next matchup is Iowa State Lipscomb. Iowa State's missing one of their key players, but not a very talented Lipscomb team. Or not to discredit them, but this is Iowa State.
Still happen.
Iowa State is still very talented, regardless of with Keyshawn Gilbert out. Like they still, Taman Lipsey I think is still playing, but they even have Curtis Jones, who's was a great 6-man, and he'll just explode for 25 if you need him to.
Yeah.
So they still have scoring options.
I mean, I saw this is like the
Iowa
most.
State.
This is like the most picked, like 3-14.
And it's due to the Iowa State injuries.
Yeah. So yeah, you got Iowa State.
I got Iowa State.
So we all got Iowa State.
This is a fun one. Marquette, New Mexico, 2 of the best point guards in the country. Donovan Dent versus Cam Jones. It'll be a very fun one. I think strictly for I want to see a March legend grow. And Donovan Dent out of the Mountain West was one of the best point guards all year. I hope he gives Marquette 30. And I picked New Mexico just strictly off the reason I think it's going to be kind of a player versus player matchup. Obviously, Marquette's a great team, and New Mexico is very talented out of the Mountain West.
Yeah.
But Donovan Dent is just has March Darling written all over him. So I picked New Mexico over Marquette.
I also picked New Mexico, but not for that. Donovan Dent, being that he's like one of the best point guards, if not the best point guard in the entire country. But
He's close.
Marquette started like 18-2, and since that hot start, they've been 5-7. Granted, they've had to play St. John's twice in that last stretch, but I don't know. They just kind of got cold toward the end of the year, and that's not something you want to see, especially leading into March. And then they also I know some people probably think, New Mexico, they didn't get the hardest straw. I think they could beat them now. New Mexico is tough, especially out of the Mountain West. So, I picked New Mexico.
I have New Mexico. I remember from last night when I was looking at stats, New Mexico's team stats, offense and defense was just way better than Marquette. Yeah. So I went with New Mexico.
This would be a huge win for the Mountain West, too, as a conference that has struggled in March. They always get underseeded due to the struggling in March. Last year, there was New Mexico was thought to be a surefire in the tournament, in every bracketology. Then they ended up winning their conference, so they automatically got in. But then were only given an 11 seed after everyone thought they were surefire in. So this conference usually gets disrespected by the committee, but it also ends up they have also struggled as a conference. I mean, Dayton came back from a huge deficit last year on Nevada. Nevada blew a 20-point lead or a 15-point lead. New Mexico got murdered by Clemson. So this conference has kind of struggled as a whole, and they're kind of hoping to right the ship on that. Then Michigan State, Brian, I don't think really.
Michigan State.
Your pick Michigan State, and I picked Michigan
Okay.
State. All right, we'll move it down to we'll go to the east. Let's move it across town. We go to the east. It's American and Mount St. Mary's versus Duke. I'd pick.
We don't need to talk.
Mount St. Mary's to win tomorrow night in the first 4 games, but Duke will walk them.
Yeah, I got Duke.
And then Mississippi State versus Baylor.
I got Mississippi State.
Okay.
I got Baylor.
I also have Baylor. Baylor has one of the most exciting freshmen in college basketball, VJ Edgecombe.
Mm-hmm.
He will be a top 5 pick.
ESPN top 100 ranking, by the way.
Yeah, he was a huge pick out of high school, and he'll also be a huge recruit out of high school. He'll be one of the best NBA picks. And it's also, for the storylines, it would be Jeremy Roach, the former Duke point guard, versus Duke in the second round. So I picked Baylor. And the Mississippi State, obviously great out of the SEC, but the SEC is going to win a lot of games this tournament. I don't think Mississippi State's one of them. Oregon Liberty, 5-12 in the East. You guys have anything?
I got. You go.
No, you go.
I got Liberty.
Okay.
I was about to say, this is a trap game, but I think Oregon is too good, so I picked Oregon.
I took Oregon. I think Liberty can do it.
I
yeah, that's what I'm
looked at the
saying.
stats. To me,
It's
it looked
scary.
like Liberty was better, just offensive points, defensive let up points wise. So that's why I went with them. That's really what I was looking at, and I just kind
I
of
think competition's a big part
Yeah.
of this. Like the Oregon's playing in the Big Ten.
Or, yeah,
that's
Oregon's
that's
playing
too much for me to go into.
Well, you
I
should use KenPom is the site you want to use because it ranks everybody across the whole country and not just like it gives like context to each stat.
Are we sponsored by that?
No, but
So-
who cares? Not sponsored by KenPom.
so my bracket might be cooked then.
But okay, no.
No. It might. No. My bracket's
It's a
cooked.
March Madness. It's a March Madness bracket.
Yeah,
bro.
and
Yeah,
Liberty
everybody's bracket's
Liberty is
cooked.
very possible pulling off this upset, but just I didn't see it, especially due to maybe the next pick.
I got it.
Next game is Arizona and Akron, the battle of the A's. So,
Go ahead.
Devin, you can
I got Arizona. Akron looked really good though when I was looking.
I got a
at it.
feeling you picked Akron.
I did pick Akron.
Yeah.
The Akron was my pick here. I think they can get this one done. They're fun. They're small, but they just shoot a lot of threes. They're gonna. It's
Yeah,
a fun team.
they had they were like 8th in offensive points, something like that. But like but Akron played no defense. It seemed when I looked.
I picked Arizona, sure, because they had a pretty good Big 12 tournament.
Yeah.
They went all the way to the title and lost to Houston, but I mean I think they figured it out toward the end.
And
Hopefully
Akron-
they can get something.
Akron is also like they don't defend the paint well, but Arizona's not gonna be like the team that's like they're gonna
Yeah.
bully them inside. Obviously they can score inside. Caleb Williams can Caleb Love can get inside with ease, but like this year they don't have the paint presence of Omar Ballo like they did last year. Like they don't have like they have the talented bigs, but it's not like they have this all-American
not
center
Ballo, yeah.
who's just gonna kill them inside. So.
Yeah.
All right, next pick. BYU gets a rematch with the A10. This year it's VCU. Last year they got upset by Duquesne in a 6-11 matchup, but it's BYU versus VCU this year. What do you guys have?
I got BYU.
Yeah, I got BYU.
This is one of the more popular 6-11 upsets. I have BYU. It's really funny that they drew an A10 team again.
Yeah.
Same conference as last year after losing to one last year. But I think it's BYU. The offense is just so much fun. It's high-powered. It's electric. It's shoot a lot of threes and hope a lot of them go in.
Yeah.
It's a fun team to watch,
Yeah.
and they have the potential to go far with that offense. Next, Wisconsin, Montana. Wisconsin. Okay,
Yeah.
didn't feel like we need to go in depth
They're
on that
hot.
one. St. Mary's and Vanderbilt.
St. Mary's.
AJ Hogard and Vanderbilt.
I picked Vanderbilt. I like this St. Mary's team. They just kind of didn't play amazing down the stretch, and that's what kind of moved me away from them. The defense is insane. They will go on stretches where they don't allow you to score the basketball.
They were like 8th.
Yeah, I assume that's why you picked them as the
Oh, yeah.
opponent points per game. Devon.
Yeah.
But they just don't allow teams to score.
Yeah.
But I think Vanderbilt, this is where the SEC, it's like I think they can get it done here. Next matchup, Alabama, Robert Morris.
Bama.
Bama.
I'm just kidding. I have Alabama. We'll go down to the Midwest, so we're on the bottom right region of the bracket. Houston versus Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Houston. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gonzaga, Georgia. Here will be a fun one. I can't wait to see where you guys go. Devin,
Gonzaga?
Okay. I had a feeling you were going to pick Gonzaga. Not a bad pick. They're 9th in the net ranking. Somehow.
I took Gonzaga too.
I took Georgia.
Yeah.
Gonzaga's
God.
realistically
Oh,
probably
no.
the better team. I think I just like Ace and Newell.
But Georgia's been playing
Yeah.
spoiler all season long, and they've been able to do it too.
Don't say that.
So I just okay.
Georgia's good, dude.
So I like Ace and Newell to be able to just cook against Gonzaga, and that was kind of logic behind my pick. I was kind of going players here. All right, 5-12, Clemson, McNeese State. McNeese was kind of a trap last year. Everybody fell for it, picked them, but they drew a terrible matchup for them in Gonzaga this year. It's Clemson, not the perfect matchup, but a more experienced and great defensive McNeese team.
Yeah, I went with McNeese. I believe the sashes look better.
I went with Clemson.
I also went with McNeese, so I'm on the same page as Devon.
Finally.
So, and then next is Purdue and High Point.
Johnny's most feared matchup in this entire lifespan of watching March Madness and watching Purdue in March Madness. This is a game
I'm
more
worried
terrified
the-
for it.
Like this is the second most terrified I've ever been for a Purdue game, probably back to last year's championship game. Other than that, because usually they just lose, so then it's like, I'm like, oh, but we should have won. Like you'd have to go back to the Virginia game in 2019, but even then we had Carson Edwards on the greatest March Madness performance of all time, so I thought we had it in the bag. But High Point, for the people who don't know, is top 25 offense in the country, and Purdue doesn't play a lick of defense. I don't know what their offensive points per game are, Devon. But
I could not find them. Are they not a D1?
no, they are. But
Then I
You
just
have to
couldn't
be
find
D1
them.
to be in there.
Oh. Well, then I just couldn't find them.
But Purdue doesn't play defense, and High Point just scores the crap out of the ball. They're top 25 in offensive efficiency on KenPom. This is just an elite offense all around. I picked High Point over Purdue, which sucks. I never picked Purdue to lose first round, regardless of what seed they are or how I think it's going to go. I've never done it except for this year. When the bracket was being released, they announced Clemson and McNeese, and in my head I was like, a lot of bracketologies had 5 seed, 12 seed McNeese. Purdue was the 4 versus 13 High Point. So when I heard McNeese was the 12 seed, I was like, oh no. Purdue's probably going next. They said Purdue was the 4, which is also overseeded Purdue. I don't think Purdue should be a 4. They're not that good. And then I was like, we're going to draw High Point, aren't we? And in the car driving to my youth group on Sunday night, I was not very happy with the draw.
Yeah, High Point's averaged 82.2 points per game this year.
They're
So-
one of the best offenses in the country. Purdue can't guard a
I
soul.
picked Purdue.
I took
I don't think it happens.
High Point just because the Purdue fan said that he's taking High Point, and I don't know much. And also, I'm not afraid to have Purdue out first round. Last year I had them out first round because they lost 2 years ago first round.
Yeah.
So I was
They
like,
went to the
oh,
national
so
championship.
I'm not afraid to take them out first round.
Yeah, no.
So High Point.
All right, next game, Illinois versus the second playing game tomorrow, Texas Xavier. I think Xavier wins tomorrow night, but I have Illinois beating the.
I have Illinois.
Then we get Kentucky Troy. I don't think.
Kentucky's
Troy doesn't
stats look really good when I was looking.
I don't think Troy gets the.
Yeah, but they played no hate to Troy either. You know, Troy, like, great job, like, but they have played.
I
They
don't
played
think,
Arkansas, they lost by 15. Played Oregon, lost by 20. Played Houston, lost by 20.
I don't think they
and then they
pulled the-
played Arkansas State and James Madison. So,
I don't think they pulled the Arkansas or the Oakland Magic from last year.
and this is a Kentucky team that's without Calipari.
Yeah. So
So-
you also kind of remove his March Madness demons,
Yeah.
but also you remove the great coach
Yeah.
that was Coach Calipari.
So,
Regardless of the struggles, still like in the 2020s,
Yeah.
really.
yeah.
All right, UCLA, Utah State. I picked UCLA.
I picked Utah State.
I took Utah State. I got kind of sick and tired. I went from left side down, right side down. So at this point, I was just done of looking at stats, and I just took an
UCLA has great defense, but I don't think they have an offense that could really match it. Like, they average 74 points a game. Utah State averaged about 80. Yes, UCLA plays tougher teams because they're in the Big Ten, but it's just all going to depend on how good Utah State's offense is against UCLA's defense.
So Tennessee and Wofford in the next round.
Tennessee.
Okay.
Tennessee.
All right, bottom left. We're taking a little while to do this, so it'll get quicker
Yeah.
though. Obviously, less games. But Florida, Norfolk State. I think Florida might win by 70.
I have
With
Florida.
the way the games have played lately,
Yeah.
like this, their opening is 27.5 point favorites, which is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, mind you, a lot of the big, okay, the upsets that happen, teams are like 20-point favorites, but Florida's straight up favored by 27.5, which is just an absurd opening, regardless of how good both teams are. So, Florida
It's
by-
28 and a half now.
Okay, 28. Florida by 90. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way. UConn, Oklahoma. I love Jeremiah Fears, very talented point guard for Oklahoma, but I took UConn.
I took
I don't
UConn.
think Hurley loses first round again.
I took Oklahoma strictly for Jeremiah Fierce.
I took UConn.
Pack it up, Hurley.
Hurley, he lost in 2022 in the first round, then obviously won back-to-back championships. I don't think he loses first round. Regardless of this UConn team, I think they are just good enough to win a game.
Yeah.
Then we go Memphis versus Colorado State. Colorado State is on a heater right now after winning the Mountain West and becoming a bid stealer and getting into the tournament. I still pick Memphis, though. Usually you pick bid stealers to go far, like NC State last year.
Yeah.
I just thought this
Yeah.
Memphis team, I think PJ Haggerty's playing too well.
PJ
Yeah, I
Haggerty. PJ Haggerty might be my favorite college basketball player. Other than the guys on Michigan State, but I also took Memphis.
I took Memphis.
Maryland Grand Canyon, I don't think GCU does what they did last year. They upset St. Mary's in the 5-12 matchup. This is not as talented of a GCU team. They're still good, but they lost
I
Tyson
got Bryce
Grant
Drew as
Foster.
coach, don't
They
they?
do have Bryce Drew as the head coach, former guy who went to Valpo, March
Valpo
Madness
native.
legend. But not the same Grand Canyon team that won last year. I picked Maryland.
I also picked.
I took Maryland. They looked pretty good when I was looking at stuff.
Missouri and Drake. This will be an interesting one. Devin, you can go first.
Drake had a really good defense from what I saw, so I took Drake here.
They play slow, they play methodical, they grind games out, and they play great defense. Basically an entire D2 team. Ben McCollum just carried this team over from D2 last year, and they still won a conference and won 30 games. So very impressive what Ben McCollum has done with Drake. I picked Drake.
I picked Missouri. I think Missouri's offense, like when it's on, it is top 5 in the country.
If this bracket would have come out a month ago, this would have been a lot harder. But obviously, Missouri was like a 4 seed a month ago.
Yeah.
So if
It's going to be a game. I think it's going to be the game of the round of 64.
Drake's just like Missouri's kind of struggled lately, and
Yeah.
I think Drake will be able to shut down lead offense. Texas Tech, UNC Wilmington,
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Okay. Kansas, Arkansas. This is an interesting one. I took Kansas. I still think Bill Self can put one game together in this tournament, just because. Once again, I don't think Bill Self is going to go out in the first round.
Yeah. I took Kansas as well.
I took Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Any specific reasoning, Devin?
Off the top of my head, I don't. It was close, both offense and defense, if I remember correctly. So I just needed some upsets and stuff, but it didn't. To me, it didn't matter that much because the 2 seed I had want to keep going.
So, St. John's versus Omaha. Sadly, there are going to be no trash cans that get beat by Omaha.
Yeah.
I have St. John's winning.
I also
St.
have
John's.
Okay, let's run it back up. We're going all the way back up to the East region for the round of 32. Auburn, Louisville. I have Auburn.
I have Auburn.
I have Auburn.
Okay.
And we all had Auburn, Louisville, I believe.
Yeah, we all had Auburn. Okay, second round I have UC San Diego, Texas A&M.
So do I.
I have UC San Diego, Yale.
Okay, I picked UC San Diego. It's kind of same reason. Just a really good defensive team. I think they can shut down.
I picked A&M.
I think Wade Taylor shoots Texas A&M out of this game, and UC San Diego takes advantage.
So
I picked A&M.
I have UC versus Yale, but I took UC San Diego.
Okay, Devin's got his 12 seed in the Sweet 16. Ball knower. Ole Miss versus Iowa State.
Yeah,
All of us have that?
I have.
Yeah, we
them.
all have that.
Who you got?
I got Iowa State.
I got Ole Miss.
I just changed it to Ole Miss, thinking
Yeah.
about the injuries that
Yeah.
Iowa State's dealing with. That's
Ole Miss is hot. They pushed Auburn to the point. So
See, looking at offensive defensive stats only does not tell me injuries. So
yeah.
that's cool.
Keyshawn Gilbert, one of Iowa State's best players, is out. So that was kind of what this one. The reasoning for this one.
Sweet.
New Mexico, Michigan State. I really wanted to pick Donovan Dent
no, you
here.
didn't.
I
No,
did.
you didn't. No, you didn't.
But this Michigan State team will go on 5-minute stretches of games where they won't allow you to score, and regardless of how good Donovan Dent is, like they shut down John Tonje all year. They've been able to
Until the Big Ten.
until the Big Ten tournament. But this Michigan State team's good enough. They just shut you down for 5 minutes at a time. This is going to be one of those games where I think Donovan Dent just struggles to get going because of all the bodies that Michigan State can go on. This super deep team. Michigan State comes out on top. Let's go over the East.
You're going, well,
You
Oh,
got
sorry.
State?
Michigan State.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, I was just.
It was pretty. Yeah.
Okay, Duke and Baylor. I think, Devin, you have Duke and Mississippi State.
I got Duke, Mississippi State. I got Duke.
Okay, I have Duke.
I have Duke.
I hope Jimmy Roach keeps it close and VJ Edgecombe kind of drops 20, but I think Duke's just too
Yeah.
good. I have Oregon Akron. You guys both have different matchups.
I have Liberty, Arizona.
I have Oregon, Arizona.
Okay, so we're all gonna have a different matchup,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes, all
Yeah.
three of us had different
Because
matchups.
I picked, even the next round, I picked Akron over Oregon. I think Akron just makes some magic happen. Nate Biddle will be able to take advantage inside, but I think Akron, it's just like the fun, shoot a bunch of threes, and we'll be able to beat Oregon pulling that off.
Obviously, I had Akron losing to Arizona, but I have a different higher. Do you say higher or lower seed for a 13? Is it higher or lower seed? How do you say that?
Higher seed.
Higher
Okay, I have a different higher seed making a run. So,
yours-
but
oh,
I got
later.
You got Liberty winning?
No.
no.
Oh.
I got Liberty versus Arizona. I got Arizona. I said
Okay.
some
Later
different
in the bracket.
team.
Yeah, I got Oregon, Arizona, and I got Arizona to play Duke in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, so I have Duke Akron up there in the Sweet 16. BYU Wisconsin. This is going to be a fun matchup between two elite offenses. I want to see where you guys go first.
Yeah, BYU versus Wisconsin. I got Wisconsin.
I got BYU.
I also picked BYU.
I got BYU.
Same reasoning as a offense. I think this offense is elite, and I think they can carry. And then they are good defensively at times. Like they'll win games where they have 20 turnovers. They did against Iowa State earlier this year, and then even in the Big 12 tournament, they beat Iowa State with Curtis Jones on a heater. I think the offense is just going to be too much for Wisconsin to handle.
Yeah.
And then Vanderbilt, Alabama.
Yeah, Bama.
I got St. Mary's versus Alabama, but Alabama.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, down to the Midwest. So I have Houston, Georgia. Devin's been smiling over there when we said we both picked Georgia. Well, you picked Gonzaga when I said I picked Georgia.
I had Houston.
I
Gonzaga
picked
too.
Houston beating Georgia, but I think Devin has
I
something.
have Houston versus Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Gonzaga, when I was looking, I believe had the third best offense. And Gonzaga has made runs before. So I have Gonzaga beating Houston.
Sure.
It's not a crazy statement.
It isn't.
It is
So
not
is
a
that
crazy
is that horrible or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
But the
If
first-
there were any team, if there were any 8 seed to beat Houston, I would pick Gonzaga. But I have Houston over Gonzaga strictly because Houston's opponent points per game is 58.
They don't let you score. The
They don't
basketball.
let
I
you
know.
score.
I saw that,
So
but
I
like
think they shut down the high-powered offense,
So-
especially with the experience on this team too.
I was just thinking because Gonzaga's coach also has experience as well,
yeah.
so they can figure it
So
out.
I
I
have
thought.
McNeese and High Point in the second round. I know
So do
you
I.
have Purdue, Clemson. You
I got
also have
McNeese, High Point.
I actually just changed this.
So did I.
I didn't really think about it, but McNeese's defense is so good that they can
Yep.
take advantage of the high. Like they can beat High Point defensively, unlike Purdue was. I feel like unlike Purdue was going to be able to do. So I actually just changed my pick to McNeese to go to play.
I only had one change yesterday. I wrote in pen on my paper bracket, and I took a photo of that. And last night I scratched out High Point and put McNeese.
I got Clemson over Purdue. So, yeah.
I hope you know if Purdue does find a way to win the first round, they go into the Sweet 16. But
No.
there.
No.
All right, we all have Illinois, Kentucky, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
This game's going to be really fun. For those of you who don't know, a big factor, I know you know who Ryan Hammer is. Ryan Hammer is this TikToker who covers March Madness and college basketball year-round. He's a great guy to watch if you want information. He does a trapezoid of excellence, which is a certain trapezoid on the top half of the graph is your pace and your offensive efficiency, and if you're in the top half in like a trapezoid shape, that's where you want to be first, usually come from. I wish I'd be able to pull it up right now, but I can't.
Yeah.
Illinois and Kentucky are not in the trapezoid, but they're in like a good spot where it's just teams that play so fast and are pretty efficient offensively that they can still win games and make runs in March. Like Alabama isn't in the trapezoid, like they weren't in it last year when they went to the Final Four, but they just play so fast it's impossible to keep up with them. It's really funny. They were like an unheard of pace last year, and then this year they've like added to the pace, so they're moving farther to the right. Very funny to see from Alabama. But this game, I just wanted to mention it because both these teams play with high pace and are very efficient offensively. It might finish like 100 to 100. Like it's going to be an offensive.
That'll be a good
fire
game.
fest if these two teams do play each other. I picked Illinois though.
I took Kentucky. I saw their offense was pretty high up there.
I also took Illinois.
Both of these teams are highly volatile, and I think this Illinois just can kind of puts together in the tournament. So sorry for the heavy explanation of the trapezoid of excellence, which is what it's called, but I wish I could have pulled it up and had the visual of it. Then you got UCLA and Tennessee. I think we all.
I got Utah versus Tennessee,
Utah,
but
yeah.
Tennessee.
But I got Tennessee.
Okay, so we're just going to the bottom left. Florida, UConn. I don't think Hurley gets it done. Florida moves.
I got Florida.
I have Florida versus Oklahoma. I could see Jeremiah Fears keeping it kind of close,
Okay.
but not really because Florida's
Florida
the
by
hottest team in the
25.
nation. Yeah,
Yeah.
Florida by 20.
Memphis, PJ Haggerty against Derek Queen in Memphis. Two very great players. I picked Maryland. I think these five starters just get it done.
I took Maryland.
I took Memphis because PJ Haggerty.
Okay, next Drake, Texas Tech.
I have Missouri, Texas Tech.
I got Drake, Texas Tech, and I like Drake's defense when I was looking at it, but Texas Tech had both offense and defense was pretty good, so I took Texas Tech.
I took Texas Tech also.
I took Texas Tech over.
Then we get St. John's in Kansas for us too. For Devon, it's St. John's in Arkansas. I picked St. John's, but you
St. John.
Yeah, I
Okay.
also picked
St. John's is fun. Rick Pitino and co. are a lot of fun.
All right, we're in the
Sweet
Sweet
They
16.
guard really well. All right, me and Devon both have Auburn, UC San Diego. You have Auburn, Texas A&M.
Yep.
We all picked Auburn.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, I'm all for it. I hope it happens. I will be cheering for UC San Diego.
I will also be
I
cheering
took
for
UC San Diego. I was looking. They're top. I think
Okay,
it was
Devin,
8th in
Devin,
defense.
You really got
eighth in
to
offense.
you really have
And
to
then
take into
they
play
were-
on who they play.
They were top 50 in both offense and defense. And that's what I saw. I really like that. Very surprised they were a 12 seed from looking just at that. And they're also 30-4. I know the record's not super impactful, but I took an
Another
upset.
win. So that, by the way, Devon, that'd be the first 12 seed to ever be in the Elite Eight.
Oh, I know you told me yesterday. And
Yeah.
also, I believe UC San Diego's head coach used to be with Gonzaga when I was looking.
That's very possible.
I believe so. I saw that as well. When I saw close things and I wanted to see, I checked head coaches, and I saw UC San Diego's head coach used to be with Gonzaga. So I was like, he's got experience then. So I went with UC San Diego.
So you have Michigan State, Iowa State, right?
Yes,
You have Michigan State, Ole Miss, and I have Michigan State, Ole Miss. I picked Michigan State. You picked Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Okay. I don't think Ole Miss is that great of a 6 seed. They just kind of get they kind of got a good draw
Yeah.
to get to the Sweet 16. But Michigan State's just very talented. All right. Into the East, Sweet 16. I have Duke and Akron.
I have Duke in Arizona.
I got Duke in Arizona.
Okay. You guys can go first, I assume.
I got Duke.
I have Duke.
I have Duke.
All right.
I don't think Akron
All right.
gets this the Elite Eight. Here's a fun one, though. This is another one of those games that could end up being 150 to 150 between. Well, I have BYU and Alabama,
I have Wisconsin versus Alabama.
and you have BYU and Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay, Devin, I'll let you go first before I the reasoning.
I have Alabama.
Okay. I would
Uh,
also
I-
agree with you on that. If they play each other.
I know who you picked.
But I picked BYU. This is where I think they can keep pace with Alabama, and they win the extremely high-scoring affair that this game would be. And I'm kind of praying this matchup happens because this would just be an elite, fun game to watch.
Especially in the Sweet 16, too, yeah. I took Bama. Just because I think.
Double ones and
Yeah,
twos,
they gotta-
mister. A lot
Yeah.
of chalk on that bracket. over there. I picked BYU, though. I think the offense is just too much for us to handle. But down to the Sweet 16 in the
Midwest?
Midwest. Houston and McNeese is my matchup. Devin has McNeese and Gonzaga.
I got
Yeah.
McNeese Gonzaga.
You have Clemson and Houston.
Yes.
I have Houston beating McNeese.
I also have Houston.
I got Gonzaga beating McNeese.
Okay.
Really high on the Gonzaga train. You would agree with the net ranking agrees with you, Devin.
You
Let
have
know.
Tennessee, Illinois.
I have Tennessee, Illinois.
I have Tennessee, Illinois.
I got Kentucky, Tennessee,
Okay.
and I got Kentucky.
I have Tennessee beating Illinois.
I have Illinois, and this was strictly picked off. I think Illinois puts it together. They lost on a buzzer beater in the regular season, a full court walk-off layup by Jamal Mashak. I think this is the game. I think Illinois purely on get back against Tennessee for losing on a buzzer beater. This was kind of
You're out of your mind.
this was the last one I got to.
You're out of your
So
mind.
this one just ended up being I needed more upsets in this area. I didn't really have a lot. I don't think this bracket goes straight chalk, so I took Illinois.
All right.
All right, we are. Sorry. Almost skipped a region. Into the West, I have Florida, Maryland, and Texas Tech, St. John's.
I have the same four.
I have Florida, Memphis, Texas Tech, St. John.
We all have Florida, I'd assume.
Yep.
And then I have Texas Tech and St. John's, and this one hurt because I really like St. John's. I took Texas Tech. It was partially due to the fact that I'd already picked Michigan State and Auburn, so I didn't want to have 2-1-2 Elite Eights.
I didn't have that problem for mine.
So
we know.
But I also think Texas Tech will be able to score
Yeah.
on St. John. Obviously, St. John one of the best defensive teams in the country.
I like Texas Tech's offense, and their defense was pretty all right.
Yeah, I think they can hold their own against an elite St. John's defense. And
Did we all just pick Texas Tech?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. All right.
Well, we did. Okay. So I picked Texas Tech just because of the I really wanted to pick St. John's, but I also didn't want 2-1-2 matchups in the Elite Eight,
No.
especially on the same side.
Even though
it's very possible.
Even though I have 3 of them.
So before we say any more winners, do we want to say what our seedings are, matchup wise for our
Well, we can just
final
go
8?
over what we have.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
So in the East, I have 1 seed Auburn and 2 seed Michigan State. In the West, I have 1 Florida and 3 Texas Tech. In the East, I have 1 Duke and 6 BYU, and then down in the Midwest, I have Houston and number 6 Illinois.
I have Auburn, Michigan State in the East, the 1-2. In the West, I got 1 Florida and 3 Texas Tech. In the Midwest, I got 1 Houston and 2 Tennessee. And in the East, I got 1 Duke and 2 Alabama.
So 3-1-2 matchups.
Yeah.
All right. I got 12 UC San Diego versus 2 Michigan State. 1 Florida versus 3 Texas Tech. 1 Duke versus 2 Alabama. And I got 9 or 8. 8 Gonzaga versus
8.
3 Kentucky. 8 Gonzaga versus 3 Kentucky.
Okay. So you got your right side's really fun.
Yeah.
No, actually, yeah,
My entire
Your entire bracket's
you
fun.
have UC San Diego,
Yeah.
and dude, if they were in Duke's region, purely because I'm also not. I kind of hate Duke, just
Yeah.
as like a precedent of college basketball.
Love Cooper Flag, though. I'm a big Cooper Flag fan.
I probably would have picked UC San Diego over Duke, maybe even Houston, but I was not picking them over Florida or Auburn. I just think Auburn's too good. So I love the pick. I will be cheering if they get that far. I'm cheering for a UC.
Oh, so will I.
I'm cheering for a UC San Diego national championship if Purdue eventually loses in the first round on Thursday.
I'm not doing that.
Well, your
If
team has-
UC San Diego makes it to the final 8, I will be a UC San Diego fan. I have no fan. I don't care about college basketball. So I don't you're Michigan State, you're Purdue. I really don't have a team. If they get me to the final 8, UC San Diego, I will be a UC San Diego fan. I will
Okay.
say it now.
Go through your Elite 8 predictions, as a whole.
Okay.
Do all your Elite 8 matchups and predict.
So in the East, I got Duke versus Alabama. I got Duke winning that.
Okay.
Then in the Midwest, I got Gonzaga versus Kentucky. I got Gonzaga winning.
Oh, my God.
he might be right. Dude. He's gonna be right. He's gonna win. He's gonna be right.
I got West, I got Florida versus Texas Tech. I got Florida.
Okay.
And then UC San Diego versus Michigan State. I got UC San Diego.
Respect.
I like it.
Respect.
Oh yeah, you kind of can't cheer for UC San Diego because they play Michigan State. I didn't really think about that.
All right. My Elite 8s, I have Michigan State beating Auburn. Shocker. In the East, I got Bama beating Duke. Duke kind of always I don't know, it's like a trend for them to lose
Duke
in the
was
Sweet 16 of the Final 8 or the Elite 8.
Duke
or
was
whatever.
top 10 both offense and defense.
They're insane. They're really good.
So that's
You're right.
So
No, they're insane. They're good. Realistically, they should win. But I got Florida over Texas Tech, and I got Houston over Tennessee, setting up my Final 4 to be Florida, Michigan State, and Bama and Houston.
Okay, so I had Auburn, Michigan State. I picked Auburn. I think a lot of people thought this was the best team in the country for a while. Kind of stuck with it. I'll go down to Florida and Texas Tech. Florida is the hottest team in the country, like you talked about.
Yeah.
They play any style of basketball, which is also something they can play with the Bamas, who play at that elite high pace, or they can play with your slower team like at Tennessee, who kind of grinds out the game defensively, and they will still beat either of you by 15 to 20 points. Right now, Florida's playing an absurd level of basketball, so I picked Florida. Houston, Illinois. The Illinois Magic runs out here. Houston's very good. They won the Big 12 for a reason. They defend.
Without their star player.
Yeah,
too.
they defend an insanely high level. They get it done here over Illinois. And then BYU and Duke in the very fun
He's got
East region.
BYU.
And I have BYU in the Final Four. The offense is going to do a hard carry job
all I'm going to say
into the
here,
Final Four.
I'll say it after.
So, Devin, give us your final four.
UC San Diego versus Florida, and Duke versus Gonzaga.
It's gonna have UC San Diego versus freaking Gonzaga in the championship.
Devin, okay, so what do you pick, Devin?
Well, no, you give your 4.
Okay. Brendan, give your 4.
Okay, so I got Florida and Michigan State, and then I got Bama and Houston. I got Houston over Bama, just because Houston doesn't let you score. And there's January, there's February, and then there's Izzo. Izzo gets it done on his 9th trip to the Final Four. He knocks off the hottest team in the land in Florida. It's an Izzo thing to do. Michigan State is going to play Houston in the Natty. And that is biased. I just want to put that out there right now. That is 100% biased.
Okay, so I'll give my 4 and what happens. Auburn, Florida, BYU, Houston. Florida beats Auburn. See, I would have picked Auburn, but
He picked UC San Diego over Florida. I know he did.
so okay. I would have picked Auburn going into the bracket, regardless of how hot Florida had been. I was going to pick Auburn, but I saw a stat on Sunday. No team has ever won March Madness if they've lost 3 of their previous 4 games heading into the tournament. That is exactly what Auburn has done. They lost to Texas A&M, they lost to Bama, then they beat Ole Miss.
What's UC San Diego's last 4 games?
They're 30-4. They won.
Yes!
They won their conference.
Yeah. Then they lost to Tennessee in the SEC tournament. So with that, this would be an all-timer.
Mm-hmm.
Florida and Auburn would.
I haven't said mine yet.
All-timer like game in the Final Four, but I picked Florida to move on. And BYU and Houston. It sucks because you always hope for the full Cinderella to the national championship game, but I think this is where the BYU magic runs out. Houston just shut down this offense last week in the NCAA or in the Big 12 tournament. I took Houston over BYU.
All right.
Over to Devon.
All right, Devin.
The
Oh,
UC San Diego Gonzaga.
So, I got UC San Diego versus Florida.
We know you guys.
And I got UC San Diego going to the finals. I saw top 50. I believe they were 48th in
Again, Devin.
offense
They
and
played nobody.
8th in defense, or 6th. They were top.
Okay.
Shut up about UC San Diego. They're good.
So-
UC San Diego.
I just went with it.
Okay.
And then, assuming that this does not happen at all, UC San Diego could lose to Auburn.
They lose to
They could
Michigan.
lose to Michigan.
They can lose
first round.
Michigan. So for my safety net, I cannot let Gonzaga go past. I had to go Duke
Okay.
to safety net my
Okay.
bracket, just
like
in
that.
case UC San Diego gets clapped.
You're smart.
Yeah, I picked Auburn to win it all last year.
So did I.
And they lost.
So that's why I have a safety net.
So your national championship game is
UC San Diego versus Duke.
I want to let him go last. Let him close out the show. I want to hear what goes down.
All right,
I want to hear how.
Go ahead and predict your national championship.
So Florida and Houston would be another great game. I would hopefully be a great matchup. But the Florida, the hottest team in the country, gets it done. I think they carry this great momentum, and Florida wins the 2025 national championship.
So I got Houston and Michigan State.
Vs Michigan State, bro.
Izzo for natty ring number 2 on the line here. I got Michigan State going runner up. I got Houston winning the natty.
Oh God.
Their defense is insane. They're well coached. They've been riding this bubble for the last 4 years. This is their 4th straight year being the one. They've made it to the Sweet 16. They made it to the Elite 8. Have they made it to the Final Four?
Not as a 1 seed. They did in 2021 though,
Mhm.
and they weren't a 1 seed.
They're right there. They're literally right there. I think they break through this year. I think they get it done.
So really quick, before I say my winner, for my bracket to get to the Final Four, your bracket has to end in the second round.
Yep.
You're a winner, and your Florida has to lose to UC San Diego, and UC San Diego has to get that far. So, like I said, I have Duke versus UC San Diego, and UC San Diego was top in 50 in offense and defense, but they were 48th in offense. Duke was top 10 in both offense and defense. So, and also I was talking about safety net wise. I do not want another Auburn situation where I take someone to win that is, I know they were the 2, but I just needed to be sure, so I took Duke to win my championship. But if UC San Diego makes it to the final 2, I beat both of you. Or even if they make it to the final 4, I beat both of you. I'm pretty sure. No?
Not on ESPN.
Unless
ESPN scores it really weird. It's just like whoever you get right. So it's like, and the points go up by, like, it's the same per round. So, like, if you pick the national championship, or it's like if you pick your Final Four winners correct, it would be like the same as if you picked every first-round matchup right.
So you're going to say you're champion?
yeah, I got Duke.
He said Duke.
Oh, okay.
He didn't stand on the UC San Diego championship pick, but I would have stood up and applauded you if you picked UC San Diego to win it all. I would have been here for it.
I couldn't.
But that was our fun. We the UC San Diego hype is real.
And I was looking at my brother's bracket really quick. He had Duke winning. He had UC San Diego out first round. He had Gonzaga out first round. My brother, he knows nothing. He knows even less than I do. But if he's right, then I'm losing instantly. So
That is really funny.
I just want to point that one out as well.
Yeah, but he doesn't know about the 30-4 Tritons, the best mid-major team in the country. So
Yes,
we
the-
We are
applaud.
going
You
to
see-
get first rounded.
You picked them to beat Michigan.
I know.
If UC
But
San
I
Diego
already
gets
know they're
out
gonna
first round, let's just say
Then when I'm telling you,
spring break
they're
will
good, but
not be
Michigan's
good.
hot.
Devin, they play Thursday night too. I
Yeah.
will be able to clown you, even though I picked them.
Wait, Thursday night. Wait, so we need to see if we can
We'll
watch
know.
that. We need to see if we can.
It's 9 p.m.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Actually, I'm not doing
Well, we'll all be up. We'll all be up
But
and
I'm
can
saying
text
no.
each other.
Yeah, we can be live texting the GC.
While I play on will be the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I clowned you because your national champion runner-up just got booted in the first round.
You picked them.
That happened last
I
year.
did.
You were on
But
the UC
I
San
had that
Diego
last year.
fan with
I'm
me.
still on a fan of them, but
So-
I'm just fully prepared for them to get first round
I will
and my
be-
bracket be cooked.
I'll be used to it. I had Auburn winning
And
last
there
year.
is
and they got
nobody
first
I want
rounded.
more to get upset and eliminated in the first round more than Michigan. So, yes, I'm rooting for UC San Diego, but I'm just, I don't know.
Okay, well,
It's a big ask.
I
It'll-
really need Houston
it'll
to
be
get
fun.
upset.
The brackets rely a lot on the first day, like they usually do. It's going to be a fun tournament. It's setting up to be great. A lot of the first round matchups are fun. They did a really good job, I think.
And
picking
really
these
quick,
first-round
Other than
matchups.
who
North
was?
Carolina.
You guys said that they did a good job, but there was a huge snub. What was that, really
Yeah, West
quick?
Virginia.
Yeah. So outside of Louisville getting underseeded to an 8, they should have been like a 6 or 5 or 6.
UC
and
San Diego being a 12. I mean,
should have been 11. They should have moved San Diego State and UNC to the 12 line, but who cares? And then besides UNC getting in over West Virginia, I think the committee did a great job. But on the other front, like the first round matchups are great. Every 8-9, every 5-12, 2 of the 4-13. Actually, 3 of the 4-13 matchups are great. I think all of the 6-11 matchups are great with the plans. Even like I think UNC could very well beat Ole Miss too. So like and then the 3-14s I just don't see a lot happening. And then the 2-15s are it's just hard because the 15 seeds were bad kind of like outside like Omaha a lot of these teams like snuck in because they were the 6th seed in their conference and won. Like this is where a lot of like the conferences that the winner actually didn't win was where just these not great teams getting in. So and the 7-10s are also very good. Outside of like I think all of them are 50-50. I think they did a great job with these first round matchups, and it'll be a very fun opening round of the tournament.
really quick, how many times in the last like 5 years has a 1 seed won?
Like the national championship?
Yeah.
Every time, right?
Is it every time?
5 years. So
Not
2019, yes.
2019, yes.
2021,
2021, yes.
yes.
2022,
2022,
yes.
yes.
23, no.
23, no, and then
24,
25,
yeah.
24, yeah. So
Okay, because
So
we
4 out
we
of
all
5
have
times.
1 seeds. You,
It usually
Florida,
ends up being a 1 seed.
Houston, Duke. So,
So unless it's
Okay.
it's UConn or a 1 seed usually.
and we all have UConn out second round, don't we?
Florida's
So-
good. So
I have UConn
Well, yeah.
out first round.
Okay.
right,
That
well-
won't matter much if it's second round or first round though. Like points wise, it won't be huge.
Well, thank you all for watching. It was fun. I like March Madness. My favorite time of the year. I've already made 4 brackets.
I've
Or
also
3.
made 4.
Yeah, I only have 3 right now. But
About to be 5.
It's probably gonna be 4. But
I have like
enjoy
3 fantasy
enjoy
teams.
the madness. Sit down on your couch Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Don't go to work either.
Just watch. Skip works.
Yeah.
Depending on what type of
I'm
education
on
you're
a-
getting, maybe don't skip
on-
school. I will not be skipping school.
I'll be skipping school on Friday.
I would love
On
to.
Saturday, are there games during the day or are they later?
Yeah, it'll be the round of 32 on
So
Saturday.
they're just more spread out, so they're during the game.
Saturday and Sunday.
Because
right?
I'm on a plane at like 2 for like
Yeah.
3 hours.
So the round of 32 will be fun, but just watch basketball. Enjoy this beautiful tournament, and then the next week we have spring break, so you won't see any of us for a while on any of our radio shows. So enjoy the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the following.
When we come back,
Friday,
we'll be
Thursday,
here
Friday,
for
Saturday,
the Final
Sunday.
Four, right?
But we will. I would hope
Will
they
we?
will let it. Yeah, we'll be there, and then the Final Four will be that weekend. So enjoy this great sport. Have
So-
fun watching March Madness.
I was saying I could be crying. I could not be here.
Yeah,
I might not be here based on what
we're
happens.
Come back, and Devon's national
Devon's gonna be
championship
in
pick would have been
shambles.
out first round, but I'll be able to see him Friday and talk to him about it. So, but enjoy the great tournament that is March Madness. You can catch me and Devon tomorrow for
Our post game,
our post game, and then we'll be doing our radio shows on Thursday.
I believe so. It will be like a short. It'll be
Ours
smaller
will be short,
and
but
stuff.
yeah,
He's got football.
So,
And we might talk a bit March Madness of that day as
we
well.
probably, it's opening day, so we can talk about some fun. But see us a little bit later this week. But thank you for watching. See me and Devon tomorrow morning to recap the Cubs game. And thank you for watching. This was PC3's March Madness Brackets.